This is the latest Kraken build going out, and it is a dual cerakote build. So we've got two cerakotes running constant throughout. It is actually copper cerakote, and then this is actually called Persian Purple, though you would say that's very vibrant blue. So I get it. But if somebody wants this, they have to call it Persian Purple so that I know which cerakote they want on there. But we did a full copper case, full blue Persian Purple crown on this, and then engraved the Kraken there on that. And then everything else is a mixed cerakote. So we've got the Persian Purple with copper down the center. We've done the copper background with the Persian Purple Kraken. And then the bezel is done all in Persian Purple with copper inlay. And then the clasp as a whole is done in copper and engraved out. And then we have a solid caseback that we did a torched Kraken on. So low profile, flat caseback on this. It does have a stainless steel movement holder in there, and then one of my engraved rotors on the inside. You just can't see it. Kraken engraved on the side of the case. Blue anodized hands on it. There's a nice look at that blue under the glass. So it does give it a little bit different of a color when it's under the glass versus here, but not too far off. It's what it does is it makes those anodized hands look a little bit better. So it blends them in nicely. So that's your build. Congrats, Sam Kelly, who picked this up last night. I hadn't done a video of it yet. It's been like real dismal around here. Plus, I'd been out of town. I built this last weekend. Just hadn't done a video yet. But every time I went to go do one, it was dark outside. You couldn't really see anything. But that is the build as a whole. You're going to have a lot of fun sizing this. You'll have fun. You got to line all those up, so you can do it. I promise you. I've done it. I've done it plenty of times before, and you can do it too. So, but you will have a little bit of fun with it. So put it on your wrist, do a fold over, see how much you got to pull out of there, and then try and do it in one shot. You can lay them down and like push them into each other. If that doesn't work, trying to lift up one side and kind of like fold it down onto the other. You'll get what I'm saying once you do it. Make sure you push the pen back through the correct direction. But yeah, there's your build, man. So congrats. I put a little bit of floss on this before I snapped in the bezel. That just makes it a little bit tighter. Plus the cerakote makes it a little bit tighter too. So bezel will turn left and right. Sam knows. Sam has some builds from me. But for those of you watching, this is an automatic mechanical. You can wind it, you can wear it, you can put it in a watch winder. But you always want to wear these if you're not going to be very, you always want to wind these if you're not going to be very active, just to make sure that you keep time throughout the day. The rotor is going to be moving around, but if you're not very active, you're going to start losing time. So what you'll do is you'll just back the crown off the threads till you hear it clicking. And at that point, you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you that way. Turning it back towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spaced and just going back and forth. So if you do this for a few seconds before you put it on, you'll keep time. If you do it for something like 20 seconds, you're going to max out your 31 plus hour power reserve. And I've had these things go as long as 40 hours. You won't know when you're maxed out because you can't overwind it, so you can literally just wind it all day. But when you feel good with it, you just pull it to the one and only click. And you can now set your time. You'll notice you've got a wobble crown that deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and putting adverse pressure on the movement. If you just kind of pull it straight, you won't even feel that it does that, but it's for when you're pushing and prying, it's kind of rotating with it. Okay, Google, what time is it?
11:05 a.m.
11:05. When you're good, push it back over to where it is seated back against that and screw it down. And that is your build, sir. As with every build, comes with matching beads. Entirely up to you whether you wear them or not, but it's a lot cooler if you do. I don't have any blue boxes, let alone a blue that would match that blue. So I just grabbed a nice silver Kraken box. So that is the build. With every build, you're going to get watch clearance. It's good on all glass and metal parts, so everything there. And also, you're going to get some fine scratch remover. This is an acrylic glass, and you can scuff it. If you do, put a tiny bit on it. Buff against it using your included microfiber. Buff against that scratch, and in about 20 seconds, you'll have it buffed out. So be careful with this. This is kind of like wearing a car around. So if you wouldn't do anything with your car against something, you wouldn't want to do something with this. So it's a Cerakote, and then it's been heat treated on and like bonded, but you can like scratch the shit out of it. You know, it's abrasion resistant and it's tougher than paint, but you can definitely scuff it. You can use sandpaper and work on it back and forth and knock it down. So if you rake this against a brick wall, you're definitely going to put lines in it. So just pretend like you're wearing your car around your wrist, and if you wouldn't do that with your car, don't do it with the watch, which is kind of how you should live your life anyway. But I know some of those people out there go, it's a beater watch. This is definitely the furthest thing from that, so don't beat on it. It's made to look pretty. So thank you, Sam, once again. And if you want me to be able to do something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. I'll get this out to you soon, Sam, and your build and warranty cards will come a little bit later since you just won. So thanks, buddy.